Heavy fighting continues in southeastern Ukraine, where a Western official said Ukraine had launched a major offensive and Russian President Vladimir Putin said hostilities have increased significantly. Fighting in recent weeks has occurred at several points along a front that stretches for more than 1,000 kilometers as Ukraine counterattacked with Western-supplied weapons and Western-trained troops against Russian forces that invaded 17 months ago. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky congratulated his troops on regaining control of a village, while Putin praised the heroism of Russian troops in repelling an offensive in the southeastern region of Zaporizhzhia. Ukrainian forces have only had additional gains since launching a counteroffensive in early June, and Putin has repeatedly claimed Ukraine suffered heavy losses without providing evidence. Ukraine has deployed thousands of troops in the region in recent days, said a Western official who was not authorized to comment publicly on the matter. Video footage shows fighters from the Atom tactical group of the Ukrainian armed forces destroying a modern T-90M breakthrough tank from Russian invaders. The tank drove along a field road near a forest path, but could not escape the barrage of ammunition. It's interesting that the T-90 is a very good modern aggressor tank, and the modernized version of the T-90M is even cooler and was previously considered an export. On the other hand, People's Representative and Frontline volunteers Yuriy Mysyagin said that the artillery of the 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade, Magura, of the Armed Forces of Ukraine destroyed the tanks of the interventionists. He published video footage corresponding to an unmanned aerial vehicle from the Volyn Volunteer Battalion of the UDA, whose operator found a fat target and adjusted fire on it. Ukrainian missile and artillery units hit 11 Russian occupation artillery facilities in firing positions, as well as 2 control points, an ammunition depot, a place for the concentration of manpower, weapons, and military equipment, as well as 3 other important colonial purposes. The Ukrainian military is waging a battle of attrition south of Bakhmut, with the ultimate goal of cutting off Russian supply routes to the devastated eastern city, which Moscow forces captured in the spring. Ukraine was gradually advancing south of Bakhmut, and fighting continued in Klishchiivka, Kurdimivka, and Andriivka, 3 villages south of the city, said Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar. The Ukrainian military also said Ukrainian units repelled a Russian counterattack south of Bakhmut. Serhiy Cherevety, spokesman for the Ukrainian military's Eastern Group, said there had been 11 battles in the area over the past few days. Along the border of the Kharkiv and Luhansk regions, Russia continued to push back Ukrainian units. However, Cherevety noted that the number of enemy attacks around Lyman was lower than average. Compared to the recent peak of 10 to 15, he said there were 3 enemy raids in the area inside the Serebryansky and Belohorivka forests. Another video also shows that Ukraine continues to actively use Frontline unmanned aviation. Thus, People's Representative and Frontline volunteers Yuriy Mysyagin released a video in which the drone operator destroys an infantry fighting vehicle, a D-20 mounted howitzer, and a KamAZ assault truck with cumulative anti-tank grenades in the direction of Kherson. Special forces in various parts of the south use Mavic drones to detect hidden enemy equipment, and at night use PERUN drones to destroy it. In fact, the Minister of Digital Transformation of Ukraine, Mikhailo Fedorov, said that the Special Forces of the Security Service of Ukraine destroyed the Sunset heavy flamethrower system with the help of Frontline unmanned flights, FPV drone KamAZ. The presented video clearly shows that after a direct hit, the TOS driving along a field road near a forest path simply crumbles, is loaded, and its shells begin to explode on the go. As well as deploying additional brigades to fight in the south, the Ukrainian military is continuing a campaign to take down Russian logistics hubs, with Russian-appointed officials in the occupied territories reporting multiple rocket attacks on the town of Tokmak, a key supply location. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported on August 2 that Russia had lost 247,230 troops in Ukraine since the start of its full-scale invasion on February 24 last year. This number includes the 540 casualties suffered by Russian forces over the past few days. Ukraine's counterattack started on a number of fronts last month, but has seen very few clear gains so far. The Kyiv general had warned that a quick outcome would be nearly impossible because of the Russian defensive lines and minefields. The Institute for the Study of War, ISW, think tank noted a significant mechanized counterattack operation on the Zaporizhzhia front that appeared to have penetrated certain pre-prepared Russian defensive positions south of Orikhiv, north of Robotyne. The southern front is one of the two main areas of Ukrainian counter-offensive operations that have been ongoing since early June. The others are around Bakhmut in the east of the country. Foreign observers and officials have suggested the move may be an investigative operation designed to stretch Russian defenders and identify weak points. Elsewhere, Ukrainian troops have reported progress around the destroyed town of Bakhmut in eastern Donetsk Oblast. On Thursday night, Ukraine claimed the liberated village of Staromayorsk, equidistant from Zaporizhzhia and Donetsk on the southeastern front. ISW battlefield images show that Ukrainian forces have penetrated about 1.5 miles through the Russian lines. This geolocation point is outside the most advanced Russian fortifications previously established in this area, indicating that Ukrainian troops were able to penetrate and bypass tactically challenging defensive positions.